Watu wengine ni wako na sura ya viongozi lakini ni mabroka. Walitusumbua wakati ya railway, wakatupigia makelele siku ya reli, wakati wamenunuliwa na mabroka wengine. Na mtu asiseme anaongea kwa niaba yangu. Mimi hakuna mtu nimetuma aende ongee kwa niaba yangu. Mimi ninaweza kujizungumzia mwenyewe. Kwani nimejizungumzia wakati hii yote, sasa ndio nimeanza kushindwa kuzungumza mambo yangu.
Kenyans are wondering, you told us you had no money. Then in the office of the deputy, all these busy boys, what were they doing there? So you think you are attacking Gachagua, but you are exposing yourself. People, everybody is asking, what were all these people doing in Gachagua's office?
If you look at even the current politics around impeachment, I think the DP's problem was what he said, not what the leadership does. If you looked at the two and you could see it, even the opinions among Kenyans as the impeachment process was on, they felt that, you know, this is a case of the pot calling the kettle black and pointing fingers. Perhaps it's because the pot is slightly bigger than the kettle and therefore can point fingers of accusation. And I've always taken the position that, you know, if you have two thieves who have become a nuisance to the villagers and they start fighting among themselves by the river bank, and one is strong enough to push the other into the river and drowns him, so be it. We are one thief less. We can figure out how to deal with the remaining thief. But that aside, I think when you look at...
You want the monopoly of thief.
We'll figure out how to deal with the surviving one. Once the other one is gone, or drowned by his own fellow thief. But that aside, you see, if Kenyans didn't know what their true north is, they would not be, you know, consistently polling and saying in successive polls that we are headed in the wrong. And they can see for themselves. Of course, there's a sense in which Kenyans themselves are part of the problem. Because when we get an opportunity, and this is a problem even with the civil society ourselves, when you give us as Kenyans an opportunity to elect leadership, we do so on other parameters other than the indicators of the true north. And that's where we always get it wrong. Even to date, as we complain, Kenya is headed in the wrong direction. If any demagogue showed up and said he knows Jesus Christ more than others, you know, ABC and so on, we follow that path. And today we are even seeing the leaderships of our religious sector, you know, casting doubts. Yet, you know, they are part of the problem. Some of the things, you know, the DPs being accused of were uttered in churches, in places of worship, and they cheered him on.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and say, let's try and reach out to the head of state and make peace. Yet they provided the platform and fodder that, you know, fed into those disputes and conflicts that they are now trying to resolve. So there is a deficit of trust. And it starts from our traditional leadership, you know, this council of elders that are all over the place in almost every ethnic nationality in this country, during Czechia and so on, everywhere. There is a trust deficit, whether it's traditional, institutional. Look at our National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Uttered not even a single word when some of these statements were being made. When now the impeachment comes, the NCIC tells us that, you know, this process may lead to ethnic animosity. Yet, you know, the utterances that led to that process, you know, passed by as the NCIC watched. And so it is a reflection of institutional, you know, failure, both at, you know, official government levels and even, you know, traditional levels and even, you know, non-governmental level.
Who will persuade Ruto? Who will persuade Ruto to keep on oppressing Kenyans? Who will persuade Ruto to bring a law that is against the church? Who will persuade you, Mr. Ruto? God is not with you. God is not with you. You have DCI, CID, whichever D. Send them for me or send them to me. I don't care. Even they are fed up. And the military is also fed up with you now. Who will persuade Ruto to go, Ahab, to go up, that he may fall at Ramoth Gilead? Who will persuade him to rig out Rigiji? I prophesied this thing in December.
Nani aliua Wapokot? Nani alisema shoot to kill? Nani aliua Wapokot? Nani ameiba pesa ya Kenya? Nani aliua Jacob Juma? Nani ameua Wakenya wengi? Nani mwizi number 1? Halafu
The question here is, because the president in his communication says that he got clearance from IBC, KRA, EACC, DCI, HELB, Commission on University Education, Commission for University Education. I mean, these officers, they are public servants. They work 8 to 5. Okay. When was this clearance sought? IBC, in my view, before I even go to how it was done at night, and who tells you it was done at night, might have been done at so tell me, the vacancy only occurred after midnight? Morning. In my view, IBC, and I really want to follow on what, I'm not a lawyer, but let me say this, in my view. When we seek election as members of parliament, we normally do not appear before the commissioners. We simply get a secretariat that approves, and you go. Who has appointed that secretariat to appear before? There is a secretariat in office now. The question I'm asking, for me, IBC... Sorry, Mheshimiwa Koech, when you appear in Belgut to take your papers there for nomination as a member of parliament candidate, the returning officer, who has appointed that returning officer? But now the returning officer then here will be... Let's just answer the question. The clerk who appoints the returning officer in Belgut? By that time is by IBC. But that is an election. IBC commissioners. For this case, sir, in my view, I think IBC's role was purely administrative. No, it is. Purely administrative. So how does the president try to IBC? Those are the things now that I mean, what will be an issue here, Sam? Who manages the relationship between IBC and other state agencies? Is it Marjan Hussein Marjan? Yes.
He's the chairman. Well, the returning officer for the presidential candidate is the chairman of IBC. Yeah, so allow him to finish. So, in my view, you had asked me a question, but in my view, I was just giving my input on why on IBC. IBC's role is pure administrative. So, are you bothered, by the way? You are a lawmaker. Are you bothered that there's no commission, or rather, there are no commissioners, and this decision has actually been received? Extremely. Confirmation. Extremely. You're bothered. I am extremely bothered. So, with no constituency. So then why would Parliament go ahead to consider a decision that is being confirmed by a body whose commission is not existent? We are in the process of concluding that... you already did. You voted on Professor Kindiki, didn't you? No, that is different. I'm talking about IBC. The decision you took when you voted for Professor Kindiki was on the premise that he had been cleared by IBC. By the Secretariat of IBC. No, the communication says by IBC. Let me ask you, nevertheless, Sam, yes. Nevertheless, you have said that your returning officer in Belgut is appointed by the IBC. You believe the secretariat, the management here, is competent enough to make that decision? I believe, not even that, I believe that the process of clearing an individual, and like even Honorable Gachagua did say, this is a different situation. Okay? This is not an election. All right. That's fine. It is an election. Even though your speaker, at the end of the vote, said that Professor Kithure Kindiki is now Deputy President-elect. Yes. But you got clearance from EACC, DCI, HELB, and CUE, offices that work 8 to 5. The decision by the Senate was just before midnight. When was this communication written to them, and when was it received? Will it be wrong or probably unconstitutional if an officer of government was to clear anything outside their working hours? At midnight? I'm just asking you, will it be unconstitutional? The regular working hours are 8 to 5. Yeah, but when were these officers mobilized? I don't know. You know, you're talking of things that I do not know what time they happened. So maybe that's the right answer, that you do not know. Can I
tukasema kwa sababu mambo imefanyika hiyo, na yeye hata ameshukuriwa akawa mgonjwa, tunasema pole kwa familia yake. We are wishing him a quick recovery. Sasa sisi tunasema yeye asikuve roho.
Mtazamaji, mambo si mazuri maeneo ya Mlima Kenya, haswa kaunti ya Nyeri. Sasa hivi ni kivumbi baada ya kivumbi tangu usiku wa jana Rigathi Gachagua kuweza kufutwa kazi au kuondolewa madarakani kupitia njia ya impeachment ndani ya bunge la Seneti. Kabla tusonge mbele na taarifa hizo za maandamano, ripoti ambazo zinanifikia hivi punde ni kwamba mahakama imeweza kuzuia uteuzi wa Kithure Kindiki ambaye muda mchache uliopita wabunge walipiga kura na kumpitisha kama the next deputy president baada ya impeachment ya Rigathi Gachagua. Mahakama sasa hivi imetoa amrisho ya kwamba Kithure Kindiki hawezi kuapishwa kama deputy president. Breaking news: the High Court has given orders stopping the swearing of Kithure Kindiki as the new deputy. Things are moving so fast they will not believe. Breaking news: High Court orders temporary halt to Senate's resolution upholding impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Justice E.C. Mwita issued conservatory orders citing significant constitutional questions and public interest. Case to be heard by a special bench appointed by the Chief Justice on October 24. Mtazamaji, hili linatokea lisali moja tu baada ya Rigathi Gachagua na timu yake ya mawakili kuweza kufikisha kesi 4 mahakamani muda mchache uliopita zikitaka waweze kutendewa haki kwa kuweza kuzuiwa William Ruto kuweza kumwapisha the next deputy president. 4 cases have so far been including one by ex-deputy president Rigathi Gachagua and 2 other petitioners seeking to block President William Ruto from appointing a new deputy president. Mtazamaji, wiki chache zilizopita wakazi ama jamii ya Wakikuyu kutoka Mlima Kenya iliweza kumfukuza Kimani Ichung'wah maeneo yale ya Mlima Kenya, huku ikifukuza viongozi wengine wengi ambao waliweza kupiga kura kuondolewa kwa Rigathi Gachagua. Hii ni kupitia kuonyesha hasira kupitia maandamano yao na kuwafukuza na kuvunja mikutano ya wabunge hao, wakionyesha hasira ni kwa nini waliweza kumimpeach Rigathi Gachagua. Sasa hivi lakini taarifa njema ni kwamba mahakama imejitokeza kumtetea Rigathi Gachagua, na Rigathi Gachagua bado yupo mahututi hospitalini na hali yake bado haijakuwa nzuri, na amepatiwa hadi masaa 72 aweze kupata nafuu ndipo aweze kutoka na kuweza kuzungumza na wananchi wa taifa hili tukufu la Kenya. Hata hivyo sasa hivi wakazi wa Mlima Kenya wameweza kutoa maoni tofauti. Nina video hapa, lakini kabla nizichezeshe, chukua sekunde yako moja kama kawaida, bonyeza alama ya like kisha usubscribe, itakuwa kama malipo kwangu na itakuwa umenisaidia
teuliwa kwa Kindiki.
Asante sana. Majina yangu mimi naitwa Dr. Dhuo Mathenge. No aguko. Amen. Mimi niko hapa siku ya leo nikisema nimesikia Kindiki majina yake imepelekwa bungeni na bunge iko ina mjadala wa kuipitisha Kindiki. Ile kitu mimi nataka kusema siku ya leo, the president, it is the prerogative of the president to elect his running mate, his deputy president. Kindiki ni wa Mount Kenya. Mimi sitaki tuwe na vita kati ya Mount Kenya East na kati ya Mount Kenya West. Sisi yote tumeuliza watu yote wapendane. Kama ni Kindiki atapitishwa, sisi tunauliza Kindiki akipitishwa, naye ndugu yetu Rigathi Gachagua apatue right yake ya justice in the courts. Kwa hivyo sisi hatuna ubaya na vile Kindiki akiwa deputy president.
Na pengine unaweza kutueleza mlipokea vipi habari za kubanduliwa kwa naibu rais siku ya jana?
Kubanduliwa kwa deputy president Rigathi Gachagua ilitushika na moyo yetu, tukasikia ushungu sana. Tukaona huyu mtoto yetu alikuwa anaongeaga ukweli kila wakati, na tukasema kwa sababu mambo imefanyika hiyo na yeye hata ameshukuriwa akawa mgonjwa, tunasema pole kwa familia yake. We are wishing him a quick recovery. Sasa sisi tunasema yeye asikuve roho. Mungu wako pamoja na yeye. Ameona mambo mengi tangu alisariwa. Hata waia naona hii itakuja iiche na atembee kwa njia inayofaa.
Katika gazeti hilo la mahakama lililosambazwa sasa hivi likiweza kutoa amri kuzuia kuapishwa ama kuzuiwa uteuzi wa Kithure Kindiki ambaye alikuwa waziri wa mambo ya ndani na usalama, ambaye sasa hivi William Ruto amemchagua kama the next deputy baada ya kumfukuza Rigathi Gachagua. Nikisoma iliandika hivi: in the High Court of Kenya at Nairobi City, court name Milimani Law Court, case number, ikaandikwa namba hapo kama unavyotazama, citation Rigathi Gachagua versus State Law Office and Senate and 3 others. Orders from the court document. This matter coming up for directions on the notice of motion and petition both dated 18 October 2024 before Honorable Justice E.C. Mwita, and upon considering the pleadings, supporting affidavits and attachments, I am satisfied that the petition and application raise monumental constitutional issues touching not only at the heart of a functioning constitution but also its fundamental tenets of the rule of law and human rights. It is hereby ordered as a matter of urgency that the pleas be served immediately and be responded to within 3 days after service. Number 2, that due to the significance of issues raised in the petition and application, I certify this matter as raising substantial questions of law and public interest and therefore fit to be heard by a bench of an even number of judges to be appointed by Honorable the Chief Justice. The file be placed before the Honorable Chief Justice immediately for consideration in the regard. Number 3, that in meantime, due to the issues raised in the petition and the application and the agency demonstrated, a conservatory order is hereby issued staying implementation of the resolution by the Senate upholding the impeachment charges against the petitioner, the Deputy President of Kenya, including appointment of his replacement until 24th October 2024, when the matter will be mentioned before the bench to be appointed by the Chief Justice for appropriate orders and action given under my hand and seal of the Honorable Court this 18th day of October 2024. Mtazamaji, Ruto hataweza kuweka next deputy president mamlakani hadi kufikia tarehe 24 iwapo mahakama itaamua kwamba Rigathi Gachagua aliweza kudhulumiwa au la. Mtazamaji, bonyeza kiboksi hicho kwenye screen yako, kitakuelekeza katika YouTube channel yetu mpya. Utapata video zaidi kuhusiana na ripoti hizi.